Sun Wukong, scrutinizing Yuan's thoughts, witnessed a scene from the past where they argued about sleeping arrangements. A bolt of lightning struck, splitting a rock in half, but Yuan did not perish. Sun Wukong, affirming his belief in Yuan's survival, expressed his certainty that Yuan was not dead. This revelation added a layer of complexity to their connection as they navigated the intricacies of a relationship that seemed to transcend worlds and time. Yuan emerged from the hole created by the lightning, and the battle ensued immediately. They engaged in a prolonged fight, both seemingly relishing the combat. However, in the end, Yuan succumbed to the might of Sun Wukong. Surprisingly, Sun Wukong spared his life, and an unexpected friendship blossomed between them. Following this encounter, Yuan, who had always been solitary, found a companion in Sun Wukong. Their clashes became a regular occurrence, evolving from confrontations into a robust friendship. They spent their days together, enjoying each other's company, and Yuan's once lonely existence transformed into inseparability with Sun Wukong. As their camaraderie deepened, an unexpected event disrupted the calm sky. The tower's walls quivered, collapsing for the first time. The disturbance unveiled the presence of outer gods, beings from outside the tower, threatening destruction and annihilation. Sun Wukong and Yuan joined forces to combat these monstrous entities. In the chaos, Sun Wukong questioned Yuan about the outcome in the world where they stood united. Yuan admitted that they weren't the sole defenders against the outer gods. Other formidable beings, including Hercules, Odin, Kronos, Azura, Sun Wukong, and himself, were involved in the struggle. Together, they deliberated on a strategy to alter their grim circumstances. To change their fate, they decided one of them must travel back in time. The chosen one would be the individual capable of ascending the tower swiftly and eliminating the outer gods effectively. After careful consideration, Kim Yuan emerged as the chosen candidate, having slain the most outer gods. As they contemplated their plan, the world reflected in Yuan's flaming eyes vanished, and the dream of Gong returned to reality. It became apparent that Yuan had arrived from the future. He materialized in Britain due to the impending threat posed by Lancelot. Sun Wukong inquired about their chances of victory, to which Yuan somberly responded that the odds were slim, not exceeding 1%. Frustrated with the complexity of their situation, Sun Wukong revealed that he was a clone of the real Sun Wukong, trapped in the Marble Mountains. Despite being an immortal being, the clone remained imprisoned, yearning to regain its true form. Yuan agreed to help, but on the condition that Sun Wukong would assist him in return. This request left Sun Wukong incensed, considering his past assistance in shielding Yuan from lightning. Unexpectedly, riders on horses descended from the sky, Valkyries from Asgard. They observed the unfolding events, revealing that Lancelot had connections with Olympus. Concerns arose about Arthur's return to the throne potentially triggering an attack from Olympus. Yuan grasped Olympus' plan to exploit Lancelot for the downfall of Asgard, and with Lancelot's defeat, a sense of relief permeated the air. Deciding that meeting with the Asgard representatives held no purpose, Yuan departed. Asgard adhered to its principles, choosing to unsheathe their swords only when victory was assured. Sun Wukong inquired about the war's commencement, and Yuan cryptically replied that it would start when Olympus fell. Unease lingered, as Sun Wukong questioned whether Yuan truly controlled his destiny despite hailing from the future. Yuan, uncertain of his strength, likened himself to a diamond requiring the influence of multiple forces to be deemed truly powerful. Yuan had called the administrator after spending 1,000 points. Sun Wukong, curious, asked why Yuan wanted to meet with the administrator. In response, Yuan explained that it was necessary to reach the right floor where Song's real body was located. The administrator pondered Yuan's proposal for a meeting, and after careful consideration, finally agreed to it. Standing at the edge of a high wall, Yuan gazed into the distance. This marked the edge of the earth, the border of Britain, enclosed by an expansive brick wall. Beyond the wall lay a vast expanse of rock and forest. The administrator appeared, and Yuan expressed his desire to undergo a test to reach the right floor. The administrator proposed a substantial fee for the test, and after some negotiation, Yuan agreed. The receptionist scheduled the test, and Yuan opted for the fastest route, taking the test upstairs. With the test fee paid, the environment around Yuan immediately transformed. A message appeared, outlining the conditions: traverse the forest, create a path within a year, and accept help from pioneers for additional rewards. Yuan suspected the administrator's intention to mock him with a year-long test. He glanced at the cloud where Dream of Gong was hidden, reassured the great sage that he would manage fine, and Sun Wukong, frustrated, warned of high-level monsters. Despite the warning, Yuan declined Sun Wukong's assistance, fearing the administrator's consequences. Sun Wukong reluctantly accepted, knowing he would have to wait a year for Yuan to complete the test. Yuan, confident in his abilities, promised to call Sun Wukong when the test concluded. The test commenced as Yuan found himself at the bottom of the 25th floor, facing an unfamiliar black forest. Knights guarding the border approached, recognizing Kim Yuan but puzzled by his sudden appearance. Yuan explained his presence for the test and sought the knights' cooperation. Discoverer Warlock, a top-class player, saw the advantage of teaming up with Yuan as he proposed to explore the entire forest in 15 days instead of the planned 3 years. Knight Warlock, initially skeptical, witnessed Yuan's increased abilities. After spending 5 days resting, Yuan felt invigorated, with electricity flowing through his body. The sorcerer, concerned, questioned Yuan's actions just as footsteps and noises emerged from the black trees. A boundary had formed at the edge of the forest, warning them to avoid approaching. Electric mana gathered and condensed in Yuan's hand, forming a black lightning ball. With a lunge, as if throwing a spear, the black thunderbolt left his hand, rushing towards the forest. An electric explosion echoed as trees scattered and caught fire. Nearby monsters were struck by the electric charge, their screams drowned out by the sound of thunder. Trapped by the flames, they couldn't escape, burning in the fire. Warlock realized that when Yuan claimed he could pass the test in 15 days, he wasn't bragging. Watching Yuan with a worried expression, Warlock acknowledged that the fire had burned a path in the forest. To move forward, Yuan urged them to keep going. It was the 4th day of exploring, and Yuan led the pioneers, killing monsters and clearing a path. The knights struggled to keep up, fearing they might lose sight of him. Warlock marveled at Yuan's strength, realizing that the stories about the strongest player weren't exaggerations. Zeus, who considered himself the ruler of the tower, might surpass Yuan in strength, but Yuan's skills were close to those of a high-ranked player. The knights had to run after him, and at that speed, they would cross the forest in less than 15 days. Suddenly, a huge snake appeared beside Warlock, ready to strike. A man, unfamiliar to Warlock, emerged and swiftly punched the snake's head, blood splattering for several yards. Concerned knights rushed to Warlock, who inquired about the stranger's identity and the engineer's whereabouts. The stranger revealed himself as Peng Bei-Krim, the Fist Lord of the Celestial Demon Cult, stating he came on the orders of the young Vice Lord. Warlock, surprised, wondered why the Fist Lord was searching for the Vice Lord in the forest. In response, the Fist Lord explained that he was instructed to come specifically to this location. Warlock and the other knights, equally surprised, insisted that there was no Vice Lord in the forest, only them. Yuan approached from behind, declaring that the Fist Lord had disturbed the wrong person. Peng Bei-Krim turned around, and to his astonishment, saw his Vice Lord, Yuan. Yuan expressed his hope that Peng Bei-Krim hadn't come alone. The Fist Lord clarified that they had arrived as per his orders. The sorcerer, still in disbelief, realized that Kim Yuan was the Vice Lord of the Heavenly Demon Divine Cult. The sound of numerous footsteps echoed as thousands, perhaps tens of thousands, of people approached Yuan. They knelt, swearing allegiance to the cult leader. Yuan raised his hand, signaling for them to stop, acknowledging that enough was enough. Looking at the multitude of cult members kneeling before him, Yuan explained that he couldn't seek help from anyone but the pioneers, otherwise, he'd have to face the test alone. Hence, he asked the Heavenly Demon to assist the pioneers. As the Vice Lord of the Heavenly Demon Divine Cult, Yuan ordered their aid to help the pioneers clear the path and explore the forest. Peng Bei-Krim affirmed that he was listening to Yuan's orders. A roar from the crowd spread through the forest, causing it to tremble. However, it now seemed less intimidating than before. The construction of the path accelerated, with cultists chopping down the forest to make way. When a huge monster with terrifying fangs obstructed the path, it was swiftly killed by the Fist Lord. Fist Lord and Peng Bei-Krim observed Yuan, remembering when he was once a novice player and had now become the tower's best. As a large black orc emerged from the forest, Yuan threw a lightning bolt at it, resulting in a deafening explosion and the orc's charred body falling to the ground. The path was successfully paved, and both pioneers and cultists set up camp at the forest's edge. Yuan had received a message from Merlin at the beginning of the challenge, inquiring about his whereabouts and intentions. Yuan informed Merlin that he needed reinforcements to complete the trial in 2 weeks. Merlin, representing the King of Britain, explained the country's unfavorable situation, limiting his ability to provide substantial assistance. Alongside the Fist Lord, the Spear Lord, who commanded cult members to cut down the forest on the other side, also joined. They requested Yuan to use his skills to expedite the process. On the 14th day, Yuan completed the task, and a message arrived confirming that he had passed the test to become a world explorer. While there were additional rewards for finishing early, the message mentioned that they would be paid later. Yuan was granted permission to proceed to the 26th floor, and another message arrived, stating that he had earned 50,000 points for the challenge. In total, Yuan earned a staggering 1,150,500 points. He generously handed 50,000 points to Lord Fist to share with his subordinates and an additional 50,000 points to Lord Spear to compensate for his team's efforts. Lord Spear graciously accepted the reward from Yuan. Yuan, mindful of his responsibilities in Camelot, mentioned that Hephaestus had already produced the item and sent angry messages to him. Lord Fist approached Yuan, requesting another reward. Despite the Spear Lord's dissatisfaction with Lord Fist's ruthlessness, Yuan gestured to calm the situation and agreed to Peng Bakram's proposal. Yuan suggested they could start the fight immediately and instructed the Spear Lord to ensure no one interfered. Lord Spear swiftly organized the fight's location, and Lord Fist was pleased. The message returned, indicating that the fight had commenced by mutual consent with no punishment involved. Lord Peng Bakram prepared as a blue glow of mana emanated from him and Yuan. Facing each other, Yuan chose not to use the skills of the heavenly demon, considering that Lord Fist possessed them as well. Wondering about the growth of his abilities, a cloud of electric energy formed behind Yuan. Their fists collided, creating sparks as Peng Bakram's blue electricity clashed with Yuan's yellow electricity. Lord Fist inquired if Yuan would use the divine flame, but Yuan decided on another skill. A blue bolt of lightning shot from Peng Bakram's hand, and the Fist Lord struck Yuan in a straight line. It was a familiar fist technique from the trial of the heavenly demon cult, but this time, it was significantly more potent. Instead of dodging, Yuan threw his fist forward, surprising Lord Fist. It seemed that Yuan had grown considerably during that time. Activating the giant's power, Yuan thought he could give his best. Peng Bakram received a powerful blow from Yuan, but he endured and retaliated. The collisions resulted in dozens of small explosions from the clash of their energy streams. Lord Fist could feel his bones shattering but pressed on, determined not to lose to a player who had only reached the 10th level. Lord Fist wondered how much stronger Yuan had become, realizing that Peng Bakram's wish had come true. He could fight at full strength. Despite Yuan delivering intense blows, Lord Fist continued to fight, hoping to defeat him. It appeared Yuan had become many times stronger than when they first fought on the 10th floor. In response, Lord Fist unleashed his most powerful technique, the Fist of 100 bolts of lightning. A series of lightning bolts burst from his fist, creating a dazzling display. Looking at Yuan, Peng Bakram saw a strange image, a stream of purple flame covering Yuan's body, wriggling and moving as if alive. It formed the image of the Sky Demon, the one Lord Fist feared the most. The Sky Demon gazed at him with glowing eyes, questioning if Peng Bakram could see him. The image vanished as Peng Bakram's thrown fist hit the compressed air. Acknowledging his defeat, Lord Fist admitted that he had seen a heavenly demon, revealing his deepest fear. Yuan, understanding the significance of facing one's fears, helped Peng Bakram confront his fear of the cult leader. Lord Fist sat with his head bowed, expressing gratitude to Yuan for the opportunity to fight. After the fight, Yuan returned to Camelot, meeting with Merlin, who was surprised at Yuan's sudden disappearance. Yuan, recognizing the multitude of tasks ahead, sought help from Sun Wukong, who swiftly drove him back to Camelot at an impressive speed. Yuan had a close brush with death during his journey, barely escaping with his life. Despite his ordeal, he hadn't received all the rewards for the challenges he had conquered. Merlin, standing beside him in the palace hall, informed him about the chaos prevailing at the round table. Some knights expressed their intention to leave, adding to the turmoil. Seated in the grand hall, Yuan contemplated the situation. He attributed the chaos to Lancelot, or more precisely, Olympus. Acknowledging the gravity of the matter, Yuan assured Merlin that he would restore order. Urged by Merlin to act swiftly, Yuan took the responsibility upon himself. Merlin, a figure of considerable power, raised his hand, conjuring blue mana in the air. Yuan noticed a peculiar item left behind by Hephaestus. Instead of using the Stone of All Seas on weapons, Hephaestus had crafted an armor, a black cloak made from the same material. The cloak, named the Triangle by Hephaestus, had a unique design tailored to Yuan's preferences for comfort over traditional armor. Yuan adorned the cloak, finding it a perfect fit that covered most of his body. Crafted from adamantium using the stone of all seas, the triangle elicited an immediate response from Kaini, one of Yuan's companions. Intrigued by the cape, Yuan drew his sword, prompting a surprised Merlin to inquire about his actions. With a wave of the sword, Yuan explained that he was testing the protective capabilities of the cloak. Yuan was amazed at the effects of this defensive clothing. Even though the clothes were thin as a paper, it won't get cut easily. Suddenly, strange blue energy started gathering around Yuan. He asked Merlin to step aside as it might get dangerous. This blue energy was coming the divine sea stone. A figure started materializing amidst the blue mana. It seemed like a back of some creature. The egg in Yuan inventory started baring his teeth and cheering Yuan for his success. Yuan wondered if it's the same creature like Kaini, but this seems a bit different than the items that have ego or consciousness. Therefore, he inquired the shadow about his identity. Yuan inquired he had no name, not even a monster nor a person, just what is it? But the shadow remained silent. Suddenly a voice resounded in Yuan's ears. Now it's the second. This voice came from the shadow. Yuan's eyes widened upon hearing it. And suddenly all the blue mana around Yuan scattered, and the shadow disappeared, revealing the room where Yuan and Merlin stood before. Out of curiosity, Merlin asked about the identity of that figure. He could feel the instability of the mana, even thinking about attacking it. Yuan also did not know about it, so he could not answer. As the figure disappeared, could not even remember its face. Maybe it was just waiting for the sky stone to be collected. Yuan wanted to ask him about how come he possessed the power of an outer god and why would it appear to be an item. Even the hatching rate of egg increased by a lot and reached 96%. But all of these lingering questions could only answered in the future when Yuan managed to obtain the sky stone. As Yuan, ready to leave, Merlin inquired why he would want to leave so urgently. He should rest for a while. Seeing Yuan's resolution, Merlin bid farewell and asked to come visit again. There may be a statue of Yuan already placed in Camelot. Yuan agreed to it. Just then the tower notified that the rewards for world pioneering had been finalized. It provided Yuan with two options to get a skill or increase stats. Yuan chose stats which increased his strength and stamina. Then Yuan started clearing floors one after another. After some time, he cleared 26th floor. He obtained 20,000 points and then kept on clearing the floors, reaching 30th, 35th, 40th floor. It had been 6 months since Yuan started clearing the floors. Right now on the 41st floor, Yuan sat in a forest grilling a fish over fire. Number 50 could be seen floating over his head. Suddenly a voice came from behind. 2 players appeared out of the bushes trying to ambush Yuan. One of the players used a mute skill to block Yuan's hearing. Yuan had 50 summoning stones, which they were after. A summoning stone could be obtained after defeating a monster on 41st floor. With the summoning stones, one could summon a higher monster and clear the trials. They were confident in taking down Yuan, so they prepared an ambush with players scattered around him in the forest. As they slowly raised their weapons and started walking towards him, Yuan merged all the summoning stones he had into one big stone. The leading player ordered all others to attack Yuan. These players jumped at Yuan with their weapons holding high. Just the leader of these players got flustered, his eyes widened in disbelief. The number over Yuan's head changed to 817. Yuan turned around with a smirk on his face. He already activated Divine Fire. With a swirl of the Divine Fire, all the players got disintegrated into dust. After collecting the summoning stones from this last team, Yuan had acquired around 10-20 summoning stones. Yuan merged all the stones and used them for summoning. The tower asked how many stones Yuan would use. He commanded to use all of them. Just then the area around Yuan got destroyed. Fire started blazing around everywhere and tower notifies that the Demon King, Diablo, will be summoned for the trial. Yuan could not believe his eyes that Diablo, a high-ranker Demon King, would be summoned for the 41st floor trial. He knew that this was the trial where the administrators and Demon Tribe had formed alliance. Even then, for a high-ranker to appear was crazy. The mana surged around Yuan. Fire blazed and started gathering at one point, forming a figure in front of Yuan. As the figure materialized, a voice echoed, "I was sleeping so well, who bothered me?" Blazing eyes could be seen amidst the shadow of this huge figure. He inquired who was the crazy bastard who used 1,000 summoning stones for summoning. Looking at Yuan, he inquired, does he even who he was summoning? Yuan remained resolute and asked, "Are you Diablo?" Diablo wondered for a moment, and then asked, "Why would you take the risk if you already knew?" Yuan withdrew his moonlight sword and declared, "Isn't it obvious? I'm going to kill you, and get the points." Diablo led a huge laughter, and expressed his amusement. "What a character! You dare to challenge me knowing who I am." Diablo activated his tainted sanctuary around him, covering Yuan. As the fire around Diablo died down, Diablo's body appeared, with fiery eyes and several horns over the head. He declared, "I will tear down your tiny body and turn you into ash." Under the effect of Diablo's sanctuary, Yuan's senses paralyzed. He tried to resist the domination of Diablo but could not. His body pressed under the huge pressure emanated by Diablo. Yuan activated Divine Fire, covering his sword with it, and instantly swung his word, creating a divine fire wave slash. Yuan's Cinder Eyes helped him to resist the tainted sanctuary, as well as the divine fire burned away Diablo's sanctuary. The divine fire spread around Yuan, charging towards Diablo. A huge blast occurred where Diablo stood. Waves of energy spread around, the ground beneath shattered, rocks flew everywhere. Yuan, activating Chinese skill beforehand, blankly started at the scene, wondering if he was successful. Suddenly, a huge hand appeared out of divine fire, charging at Yuan. Diablo, with single hand, crushed the place where Yuan stood, but Yuan dodged the strike. Diablo amusingly laughed at the unfolding scene. He already guessed Yuan would not go down that easily. In that moment, Yuan appeared right beside Diablo's head. He launched several blows at Diablo's huge body, but all of it were blocked. As Yuan tried to land another strike with the power of Kaini, Diablo raised his hand and stroked Yuan. Yuan got blown away with a single strike and crashed on the ground, shattering the ground beneath. Diablo instantly swung his tail, trying to attack Yuan, but he dodged it in an instant. Jumping into midair, Yuan activated Kaini's Hell ability with the sword covered in Hell's energy. Yuan again struck Diablo. In a matter of seconds, they exchanged several blows, each of it blocked and countered by Diablo. After exchanging several blows, Diablo got irritated by the divine fire Yuan was using. He opened up his mouth. Fire started gathering inside his mouth. After a moment, he shot a fire cannon at Yuan, trying to obliterate him. But Yuan skillfully dodged the attack. After dodging, Yuan contemplated. Divine fire was not working against Diablo at all. His mental strength was a lot stronger than Yuan imagined. But still, after countless attacks, Yuan managed to find only one weakness. The lightning bolts released through Kaini managed to do some damage to Diablo's clone. Diablo did not stop there. He again gathered fire in his mouth and shot another fire cannon at Yuan, blasting the hole into smithereens. But Yuan vanished right in front of his eyes, leaving Diablo boggled. He started shouting and searching for Yuan here and there. Yuan used sky steps and was hiding in the sky, waiting for a final attack. He gathered black lightning around his sword. With sky steps increasing his speed by 100%, he launched the attack at Diablo. Diablo, finding out Yuan, launched another fire cannon at him towards the sky, trying to counter Yuan's mighty strike. To his disbelief, Yuan managed to hold out under his fierce attack. He activated Gigantification. His whole body got imbued with the power of giants. Yuan did not stop after countering Diablo's attack, and kept on descending with his lightning sword strike and managed to cut Diablo's right arm. As the strike landed, the ground beneath shattered and Diablo fell to his knees under Yuan's onslaught. He cried in pain. He could not believe a mere human managed to hurt his body. Bluish blood flew out of his severed arm. Yuan instantly struck again and severed Diablo's left arm. Diablo cursed out in anger and started gathering fiery mana in his mouth to attack Yuan. But Yuan, grabbing the opportunity, imbued his body with giant's power and instantly attacked Diablo. As both of their attacks connected, it created a huge blast of fire and lightning. The scene unfolded where Yuan and Diablo stood face to face, holding their ground. Diablo could not understand how a mere player managed to beat the mighty himself. Acknowledging Yuan's skills, he invited him to Demon King Guild. He also offered him a position of Demon King once he managed to become a ranker. But Yuan questioned how he could become a member of a demon guild being a human. Diablo had already sensed demonic energy within Yuan. He commented, "You already possess demonic energy being a human. You deserve to become a demon king." Yuan's eyes widened. He already guessed that Diablo might notice his demonic energy, and the offer of a human becoming a demon king is unheard in the history of Tower. But Yuan declined the offer. Just then, Diablo realized that the player in front of him was Kim Yuan, being famous for rejecting offers from various guilds of the Tower. Diablo's body, already damaged excessively, got blown away into smithereens, creating a huge blast on sight. The Tower notified Yuan on eliminating the Demon King Diablo, acquiring 1 million points and passing the 41st floor trial. Yuan managed to get Diablo's horn, and his demonic lineage also leveled up, resulting in his demonic power rising from 20 to 40.